a little bit more.
This meeting is being recorded.
Oh, this meeting is being recorded. Got it. And usually a little bit earlier before entries go in, but my schedule's been a little crazy lately, so it is what it is, and we will still have some fun. I wanted to put a couple images up here and see if anybody will judge them ahead of time. Usually I go right in and I kind of read what it is and the scores and the comments, and then we talk about it. But especially with this one, I wanted to try and do it a little bit different. This is advanced pictorial color, but I just wanted to see if anybody wants to score or talk about it beforehand. No one? No one? Okay, so the title of this is Sunrise Activity. I think compositionally, it's very nice. The way it's laid out, you have the cruise ship in the back, you have the fishing boat in the front. I thought it was kind of funny that he has his iPhone out and he's shooting a picture of the cruise ship in the back as I'm shooting a picture from behind them. And then the bird flew into the picture. I did the picture. I think it took probably about 15, 20 frames. I like the way it laid out. I wasn't happy with the colors. It wasn't quite this yellow. And I just kind of haphazardly flipped through some filters. Is that me echoing on you? Okay. I just kind of haphazardly flipped through some of the filters and came across this two-tone filter. It's kind of a... I just stopped talking for a minute because we had some background music going on there. Anyway, came across this two-tone filter. It kind of had a burnt amber orange at the top, and it kind of blended into a yellowish. So kind of all gold throughout with a gradient. It scored a little bit higher than I think it should have, but I think it scored high because of the sunrise, the layout, the warm feeling that you get when you look at it. I don't think this is a great image, especially in an advanced category. And I was trying to create something that we could talk about a little bit. And I truly thought this was going to get a lower score than it did. So I was kind of amazed it got an 889. The comments that came with it says, I think the color is off somehow.
Listening to it on here because my speaker's not working.
Okay. I thought somebody was trying to chime in. One of the comments is, I think the color is off somehow, which I think definitely yes, especially since I put this filter that kind of gradient across. More comments are, I think it's oversaturated, and I don't see any separation of depth of field. I agree with the judge's comments. I just feel it was still scored a little bit higher than it should have. I think these comments should have actually brought it down a little bit. It actually scored high enough. I think there was about 8 images in the category. So it scored high enough to go through placement. In placement, the placement was Neon Canyon, Saguaro Sunset, Saguaro Sunset, Neon Horseman, and then Sunrise Activity, which is this one. So I feel the Neon Canyon and the Neon Horseman, which scored only 1 point more really were a lot better image than this. And we've talked about this a little bit in the beginners groups, the last couple of beginners groups I've done. And this is something I think that everyone needs to kind of think about when you're putting images in for competition. You really want to put in your best stuff. I did this kind of last minute. I was having problems trying to make it to the deadline, and I wasn't really completely happy with the color that it had, which was actually a little bit better than this color, but I thought it would be fun to throw this filter on. So that's kind of where we're at with that. So that's my bashing for images today. Anybody like to say anything? Okay, so let's go to the next one. This one is a beginner's image. It's in pictorial color. The title is Aspens. It did receive a 978, so it scored a 24. Comments: for a beginner, it's a very good picture. The colors are very nice. The impact lacks because I don't see a lot of focus. Great job in composition. And then actually a second judge chimed in and said the composition is very nice. Great job having the triplet in the front, which is these three trees closest to us, and a similar representation in the back, which I think is what makes this picture. I think that's a great comment. The composition's amazing in this, especially in the beginner group. And I think the color and the pop is what adds the impact. The second judge also said the leaves might be blurred from the wind, which I think is a good possibility if this is a little bit of a slow exposure. But I think overall this is a really great image, especially in the beginner category. And I think it, a 24 is obviously great. That's a blue ribbon score, but even myself, I think I probably would have scored it a little bit higher. I think this looks really nice. Anybody like to comment on this one? Cool. Okay. We're going to move on to the next one. Bear Wave. So this was in the Club Challenge category, intermediate. This scored 888, which Club Challenge was, can you help me remember what the Club Challenge was?
Like animal,
mineral, and vegetable.
Yeah.
Animal, mineral, vegetable. Might not be in that same order, but yeah, pretty much I think that covers just about anything in the world except for maybe a little amoeba or something. Actually, maybe even that too. But anyway, so yeah, definitely fits the category. Comments for this one: I think it has a lot of impact. And I think the impact is the antics from the bear, because, obviously we kind of feel that little wave. Having the title Bear Wave does kind of add to it, to his antics. The eye is a little soft, I think it might have been the eyes, it might be my writing, but the eyes are a little soft. Paw is in good focus. I'd like to see a catch light in the eyes. So I know we do that a little bit in animal and people images. We like to see a little catch light, adds a little bit more life. I think this is a fun image. I think I would have liked to seen a little bit more of the bear. Maybe the ground wasn't good enough and that's why it's cropped in. But I think this is a fun image. I think it scored good for intermediate. Again, a 24 is a good score. I think the color's good. You know, those technical aspects are good. Composition's pretty good, with the bear head and the wave kind of giving the flow at the angle, and having I like the green in the background compared to the browns in the front. Would anybody like to say any more on this one? I heard a sigh.
When I saw this, I may have judged this. I thought to myself, boy, wouldn't that be a nice bear rug, but figured I probably shouldn't say that.
Yes, we cannot offend any bears in Nevada Camera Club. I know, I had a couple images sent. Most of the images this time I kind of requested, and hopefully I talk about the ones that I requested, because I did not get them all set up. I just want to give everybody a heads up on that. There was 2 or 3 images that I just didn't get to. I know you had said they're okay in the program, but I don't think I'm going to have them today. So I'm going to save those for next time, and hopefully we get some more to add on to those. Okay, so we are going to go to the next image. Well, I've been to your house, Rick. This would make this would cover your whole bedroom floor, I think, the size of this guy. Okay, next image is beginners, color, abstract. The title is Ghost. This scored a 778 and received a 22. Some comments are, sometimes I can't read my writing, but the comments are, the strength in this image is the patterns and the colors. I like the deep green and the dark background with no distractions. Well done for a beginner. And I agree. I think in the beginner category with the color and the texture and the dark background with no distractions, I think I might have scored this a little bit above average. So, maybe an extra 8 in there somewhere than the couple 7s, but also, compositionally, it is pretty straight. The sides are pretty straight, and maybe from others judges' points of view, it might have not had that compositional value. But I think it has a little bit of impact with the color. I like the design. Anybody like to say anything? We have a quiet crowd this night, which is okay. Nobody has to talk all the time. Well, I guess I do. Sometimes Ed does, but other than that, we're okay.
I think that if the maker had stretched it out so it wasn't quite so tight in the middle, it might have been a nicer composition.
Right, I agree. Cool, fun stuff. I do know, oh, go ahead, somebody. I do know this was taken at one of the abstract events I did, and this is actually Alan Duff's light. It's an electric light that kind of goes back and forth, and then the maker was holding a green sheet, kind of like a filter, but it was just like a green well, we'll just say filter, like a green filter in front of the lens to make the light green, because sometimes the light will turn white or blue. But I think they did a good job on this. Okay, next image. This is beginners group, pictorial and color. Title is Golden Afternoon. This scored 877, received a 22. Some of the comments were, the composition is really nice. You have a beautiful scene here. I think the impact of the dark and the light is really well done. The only drawback is I don't think it's sharp enough, clear enough through the whole photo. If it was sharp, it would be a much better image. Second judge comment, I think the artistic approach is beautiful, but the sharpness is lacking. Not sharp on the sand or the background. So I agree as well. I think the composition is perfect. I love the squiggly line coming up the middle. You know, the horizons and the thirds. You've got some skies, some mountains, cool light compared to the warm light in the front is a great balance. I was shooting the same thing. I haven't looked at my pictures yet, but a good possibility I got the same depth of focus here. I think the focus looks like it's placed around here. And the problem would be is that the aperture was set too low. So a lower aperture doesn't give you much depth of field in focus. And you know, maybe focusing about a third in at an f/16 would have given you all this sand in focus, and that might have made the judges a little happier. So in portraitures, and some of the animals, some of the wildlife, we want to have a little more depth of field blurred out, and then in more of the landscape stuff, we want to have more in focus. So our depth of field is less shallow and more. Anybody like to say anything about that one?
This could have been focus stacked, and some of the newer cameras can do it right in body. Then you would have had a better chance of having the focus throughout.
That's a good point, Rick. I've actually never done that in camera. Have you done that in camera?
I've done it with the D850.
Okay, and I'm guessing definitely you have to be on a tripod, correct?
It helps. Yeah, you do.
Okay, I mean, I guess you could crop in a lot if you had too much movement, but yeah, that would be good. So yeah, I don't know if anybody here remembers the hyperfocal. Am I saying that right, Rick? Hyperfocal?
Yes. Yes.
Yeah. So that was something that definitely Ansel Adams used to do. Is he would measure where he is focusing for a certain f-stop to get the most focus out of that f-stop. I think that's a lost art, though. Especially
some of the lenses.
Go ahead.
So, some lenses still have the markings on them. If you move the infinity sign over to, say, f/16 or whatever you're shooting at, it will automatically do hyperfocus.
I don't think my lens has it on there.
That's a big one, Jerome.
Now, so what Rick is talking about is yes, it'll actually, some lenses have, some of them have different colors for different f-stops in the older lenses, and it will have a range. So like you might see, you know, f2, f5.6, f8, f11, but then there'll be some colored marks, and that kind of shows you at f8, all this stuff would be in focus that distance. Or at f22, it might be a little bit wider. And that's what Rick is talking about. Cool. So this will probably be something we talk about in the beginners group too, is depth of field. I think that's important for a lot of people. Okay, next image. So this was advanced pictorial monochrome. Title is Colab Mountain Log Cabin. So I'm pretty sure I know who the maker is. And also, I think that there's going to be a field trip up to this area with Alan Duff. So I don't know if he knows where this is, but this might be something you guys can see and play with on one of those field trips. I know he's doing Cedar Breaks, and this is up there around that same area. This scored a 9.89, so it received a 26. Comments are, I think this is a stunning picture. I'm drawn right to the cabin. I love the sharpness. I love the frame. The maker did a wonderful job. Now, I don't remember if I judged this or not. I know I've given an 8. I think I would probably have given it a 9. I love the framing within the frame. I love the log cabin. The depth of field is all focus, which is really nice. The clouds, I think it's one of those things where you say it's lucky because the clouds are perfect. I love how the clouds follow the horizon. They kind of dip in. The only thing I would like to see is I think the horizon, is my mouse on the thing, yeah. Stephen? Okay. I think the horizon and this rooftop for me are too in sync. I would like to have the roof protrude above the horizon, or even maybe if I was up on a ladder and I get to see the whole horizon and this set within the scene. But I mean, that's not necessarily something I would have scored it down for. It's just, you know, objectively, I would like to see how that looks to see if it was better.
I have a comment.
Yes.
I wouldn't give this a 9. It's a beautiful photo, but I think the clouds, at least on my screen, both tonight and at the judging, are too bright in places.
And I think I agree. You're probably seeing like right in here, correct, Michael?
Where are you again? Yeah. And over to the left also, top left. Also, you've got blown out clouds.
And it's sometimes it's hard to tell because everybody's monitor is a little bit different. This is one reason I really like the print competitions, because I think print competitions should be scored a little bit tougher on these issues. I think it's better to project. So hopefully, you know, we get our electronic back into a room where at least everybody is projected the same. Again, I know sometimes that's even hard, but especially doing this over the internet. I mean, I bet 5 of us looking at this same picture are seeing different highlights and different dark areas. So I understand what you're saying, and I do agree a little bit. You know, at least with the Camera Club projector and projecting with the laptop and projector together, everything's calibrated, so it should be the same. And everybody have an individual, you know, screens, individual brightness, individual colorization to our monitors. We're all seeing everything just a little bit different. Oh, sorry. Next image. Did anybody else have anything to say about that one? Cool. Wow, a lot of people in here. That's good to see all you people. Hey, I know a couple of you here were at beginners group. We had 30 people in the BNC Hub at beginners group this last weekend. It was pretty amazing. Okay, so next image. This is, oh boy. I did not write down the category or the classification. Obviously, this is color. The score was 788, and I forgot the title. The title is Twilight Dreamscape at the Pier. Comments were, I almost gave this a 7 because it looks a little soft. But the impact is there. The water is beautiful. Could have been sharpened a little more. I think this, sorry, this is a second judge's comment. I think this could be interesting in monochrome. So definitely this is a long exposure because you can see the waves are a little bit high here. They've kind of ghosted the bottom of the pier. And that's why all this water is soft. I think that's handled actually very nicely. It's pretty dark outside, but you're still getting a blue cast to do this long exposure. I think there may have been a little color to the left or the right because there's a little bit of warm color in the waves. And I think that's really nice. Obviously, this is probably F11 or smaller because you're getting a starburst in some of the lights and not all of them. So that tells me you didn't use a filter to get the starburst. That's from the f-stop. As far as being a little bit sharper, I don't really think it needs to be sharper, except for maybe here where you are trying to read something. And maybe just by cloning that out would take that idea out of the judge's mind of trying to read that, just having a plain pier. But I think this is handled really well. I love the pastel colors. A lot of times with the pastel look of things, they're very nice. And the technical aspect is really good, but pastels don't always have a big impact. I'm not saying this doesn't have impact. I'm just saying it doesn't have a big impact like something with a lot more contrast, because I think this is very nice.
I think it's very nice also, and I think it's pretty sharp. I think I would have given it a better score.
I agree. I would have definitely been, 8, close to a 9, if not a 9. I don't remember if I scored this one. Sometimes it's hard for me to remember with everything going on. But I think I would have scored it, but definitely higher. It received a 23. I think it should have been in the 25, 26 frame, most definitely.
Might have had some fog too.
Well, yeah, and Steven said it might have had some fog within here, which would have, actually the fog would have helped with the starburst and also made it a little bit softer. I don't see that it's soft. Again, that's going to go back and forth with different people's monitors. So not everybody's going to see the exact same thing. And that's the hardest part about judging, on the web or, on Zoom or not being all together. Cool. Anybody else want to say anything about this one? Okay, we got one more for tonight. This is another one of the club challenges. This is a beginner, and this scored 888. This is titled The Scavenger. Some of the comments are, it's a beautiful scavenger. I would have gotten rid of the white spots on the body if you could have gotten the feet in focus as well. So I probably left out a couple words. That was just the main points, but I agree. I think this is a great picture. I love the focus and the texture and all the feathers here, and definitely her I'm calling her focus is here on the face and the eyes and the beak, which is absolutely most important. maybe having a little bit smaller aperture would give you a little more focus down here. But I really love this blown out background around the head. So once again, for a beginner, I think this is handled very well. Once we get to it, I am at beginners groups. We are going to do a lot more with depth of field. We're going to do some with focus, aperture settings, and shutter settings. And we're going to do some photo walks. Oh, speaking of photo walks, so a beginners group, we did a matte cutting class that had like 27 people in it. And then I did a welcome to Nevada Camera Club PowerPoint that I think Juliana and Linda both built, and I just kind of made some changes in it. Julie? Yeah. Okay, there's Julie and Linda that built it, and I just kind of made some changes and went through it. It's a great program. I think everybody responded really well. We did have 8 non-members in that beginners group out of the 30 people there, which I thought was just incredible. So I think moving on, beginners groups are going to be kind of busy. So it might be something fun. Rick, I did talk a little bit about you possibly doing some alternative classes a little bit later in the year. So some people might look forward to that as well.
Sometime in April, towards the end of the month, is Worldwide Pinhole Photography Day. Maybe I'll try to get something together before that.
That would be awesome. I've missed the last couple pinhole classes you've done, so I want to get out to one of those. Very good. Well, hey, that is all I have for Judge's Corner this time. Does anybody else have any comments before we sign off?
Oh, thanks, Jerome.
You're welcome. Thank you guys for coming.
Thanks, Jerome.
It. You betcha.
Thanks, Jerome.
You're welcome. And
well done, Jerome.
Thank you.
All right, guys. We will see you next time. Thank you very much. Bye.
Bye.